Hey everybody, I'm your boy Jersey. This is my buddy Tex.
How you
And
doing?
this is another episode of.
Are you effing serious?
So today on the show, we're just going to talk about some random things, and something I want to talk about is it's that time of year again, WrestleMania time.
Okay, all right.
And the big news story of WrestleMania is the induction of Macho Man Randy Savage in the Hall of Fame after so many years. The McMahons decided, Randy passed away a couple years ago, and it's time.
I think it's long overdue. I mean, one of the premier wrestlers in the sport, an amazing athlete. I mean, I liked him. I mean, if you look at his career as a whole, even, the Slim Jim campaign, which I thought was a little corny, I mean, only helped to build him up even more. I mean, my salute goes out to him. Now I'm just waiting for, Sting to get in there.
Sting debuted during Survivor Series last year, and there's a lot of build up to who Sting is going to face. Now they're saying Undertaker's streak was ended last year by Brock Lesnar, but Sting, Undertaker's considered a very high profile attraction. What do you think about that?
It was always, a great matchup. I mean, I particularly love, the drama that they set up, between Sting and the Undertaker before, Paul Bearer, and that whole thing originally. So to go ahead and fast forward some years and to revisit that, I think it's going to be amazing, and I think it's going to be, great to watch. I mean, I've always loved Sting when he was, the neon tights and face paint, and then when he switched over, to the, that crow persona, I mean, I love both of them, I definitely love to see him, no matter which one shows up, I'm ready for him.
It's good. So everybody's talking about the main event of WrestleMania 31. Now they're predicting, a lot of the people behind the scenes are saying Roman Reigns. Some people don't know Roman Reigns, but let me give you a little profile.
I don't know
Roman Reigns is the younger cousin of The Rock.
Okay, all right.
It's The Rock's little cousin. He's been in the wrestling business about 7 years.
Also, he's put his work in.
He's put his work in. He's known for the Superman punch, which is exactly what I said. It is just a jumping...
Yeah, I've seen it.
It's interesting. So he is going to be facing Brock Lesnar for the World Championship, and Brock Lesnar his contract is expiring around the same time. So they're figuring Lesnar is going to drop the belt.
See, the thing is, I mean, just on a personal preference, I automatically, Reigns may be good. I've never seen him, don't even know anything about him. He may be good. He may be that guy. But right now, Brock Lesnar is my guy. I've watched and followed Brock Lesnar, back when he was wrestling at OVW with Batista, when he was going under the name Leviathan then. I mean, it's like, I've seen his career. He's an amazing athlete. I mean, pound for pound, I believe he is, one of the best, wrestlers out there. His stint in UFC, to be honest, I believe if you were just to let him go, I believe the man could do a lot of damage. And, I don't think there's really anybody, that could really do it. In a wrestling environment, yeah, okay, it could be scripted, where this, new guy could be the upstart. But, I mean, my money's always going to be on Brock all the way.
I think because he's leaving, his contract expires right around WrestleMania. There's a lot of controversy and there's a lot of stories about him going back to the UFC.
I would love to see that. But then you also have to think about it. With his contract expiring, does it give them, incentive to sweeten the deal to try to keep him? I mean, that's the other thing that you're looking at. Again, I mean, like I said, I mean, he's a great athlete. He's still young. He still has at least, I would say, in UFC, I'd say at least another 5 years. If he were wrestling, at least a good 7-8 year run that he could continue to do. And so, it's the matter of, do you want to, pay out the extra money now in order to retain this long-term visibility, with this particular entertainer? Or do you feel that, you served your purpose, and it's time to go? I mean, if Brock is looking just to make money, I'm expecting, he's going to want to go ahead and stay with wrestling. But if he's really trying to make a name for himself out there, then he's going to have to go to UFC and really, let loose and really take down, these really, serious competitors.
I think he can. I think the fact that he might resign, or he might see what Dave Bautista did. Dave Bautista's a big movie star now.
I wouldn't say he's a big movie star.
Well, I mean, him and Vin Diesel are getting like this. He's done 3 movies with Vin Diesel.
Okay.
Guardians of the Galaxy is one of the highest grossing action pictures of last year. He's been offered several other pictures.
I've seen Guardians of the Galaxy. I think it's a good movie. Like, I mean, overall, visually spectacular. It's a great movie. But when you look at Batista in that role, it's, I hate to say it, any big built man, could have played that role. It could have easily have been played by Vin Diesel or John Cena or even this, the guy you're talking about, Reigns. It could have been him.
Reigns,
yeah, or even The Rock. Anybody could have played that role, and so it's like I don't want to look to that as what's gonna make him there. I have seen him in some other roles when he was in The Man with the Iron Fist with the RZA.
Yeah.
Again, now I think that was a better showcase, of his talents, number one, physically, but at the same time, it did give him an opportunity to try to, step into the acting world. I believe he has great potential, and the thing is, aside from Hulk Hogan, I don't believe any wrestler up until Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson has made that transition from wrestling to movies and entertainment.
So what about Stone Cold's brief Steven Seagal-like movie career?
No.
You didn't. So Stone Cold's career?
Only the fans of Stone Cold were really into that. Now, don't get me wrong. I was all down for Stone Cold and the attitude and everything like that, but it didn't translate very well to a movie genre for me.
What about Expendables? They said that fight scene with Stallone was a tremendous scene. It really put him on the map as in the acting world.
The Expendables is a great movie because it showcases all of the action stars that I grew up with. The thing is, Stallone is a hell of a writer. The man can write a movie. And the thing is, no matter how you look at it, whoever was in that fight scene was going to look good.
Okay, fair enough. I mean,
Stone Cold, I fuck with him. But see, the thing is, in order for him to make it in that entertainment, he has to show another side. Aside from that, badass guy, kick ass, what I'm saying, and talk later. He has to showcase a different side. And that's what Hulk Hogan was able to do. He was able to showcase, that manly, masculine, powerful, but then go ahead and he chose to go ahead and do funny and comedy with his and to lampoon himself. The Rock went ahead and brought over, again, the physicality of the roles that he's taking. But at the same time, he's actually worked, through the persona of wrestling. He's also built to make himself, one of the people, the whole people's champ, people's elbow and everything. So people really gravitated to him. So now that he's in movies, it's easy to still gravitate to him because now instead of seeing him as a wrestler, people are just seeing him as, a really tall, built man, who used to wrestle. So, again, as an athlete. For Dave Bautista to go ahead and do this, it has to be where he has to do the same thing. He has to actually take roles where he's really, showing that he's not just, this big physical guy, that he can either make fun of himself or that he can be sensitive. And, he'll be able to do that. Like, again, if they were to do a Punisher remake, I would love to see Baptiste in it. I think it would be amazing. But again, as long as they didn't focus too much on, the emotional side of it, until he's able to showcase that. So, I mean, yeah, there hasn't been a lot of transitions, over.
it doesn't happen too often. Even Hogan's career, a movie career, was nothing to really.
No.
Suburban Commando and a couple other movies, and Three Ninjas, Mega Mountain, Santa Claus with Muscles. Nothing that we probably ever seen or recall seeing.
I mean, I remember watching some of them, but like I said, it wasn't that big thing. But at the same time, this was the '80s, early '90s, and so again, entertainment was a bit different then. And, it wasn't everything wasn't so big budget, and that's the reason why Hulk Hogan was able to make his money and still do well. But now it's the matter of essentially the way that money is, looked at, say, as opposed to 1600 to 2000, it's different. And that's kind of what it was. I mean, we've basically been able to eclipse what stands for the normal in such a short time frame. I mean, when Gone with the Wind was made, the actors, what they made to make that movie, which was, again, the blockbuster of the time, as opposed to, well, let's just say what Jim Carrey got paid to make The Mask. I mean, you could combine both of their salaries and he's still, actually you could combine both of their salaries and double it and still probably not make what Jim Carrey made in that movie. You know, and so it's like by us, putting up so much, the expectations are higher. But like, again, I would love to see him do more movies. I hope he, signs on, and does them. But like I said, I mean, unless he wants to be stuck to playing the token bad guy, like the was it Chong Li from the Jean-Claude Van Damme movies, was Bloodsport?
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah. Unless he wants to be like that token bad guy, he's gonna have to, definitely step up his acting chops.
And he can do it, possibly. There's a lot of guys that could. That's pretty much it when it comes to wrestling. I mean, we could sit here and talk hours and hours, but we got to move on.
Love wrestling. Yeah.
So we were talking about MTV. Why isn't it as good as it used to be? We used to love the videos and all the diverse programming, like the Headbangers Ball.
Right. Yo, MTV Raps.
Yeah. Remote Control.
Oh, see, I was going to say that one because that was one of my favorite
Talk
ones.
shows like that. And then now we were talking, it's all reality. It's all over the top. He said, she said, slap a bitch, yell, scream, throw shit.
What's current, what's relevant, what I'm saying, current in regards to entertainment and not really in regards to what's really happening in the world. And it's really messed up because I remember when MTV first came on, first video played, and remember watching it. And at the same, I was a young child. I have a sister who's older than me, so, she was like really on it. And so the thing was, VH1 was also coming out at the time, as that softer side. And so, like, I was like, I was getting used to having accessibility to music that you normally wouldn't hear on the radio. Being able to see these videos and these images, and, again, it helped to inspire us. Now, with so much reality on TV, I don't see it inspiring anyone to do anything except to try to create a reality TV or to try to become famous. And the thing is, when we were watching MTV, we wanted to be those people. As far as, they were musicians, they traveled and did stuff. We wanted to do that. And now it's basically people just want to be on TV, even if it's for something negative. And that's what I'm seeing here. I mean, even BET, briefly played into the mix where it was, showcasing videos and definitely, reaching out to different venues and folks. But then it also switched over, like we talked earlier, how MTV had its Real World. BET had its own version, which it dubbed College Hill. And while the season that they showed here, filmed at Virginia State University, I did watch that one only because, I had attended. It just left a very bad taste in my mouth. A very bad impression on, what is really, going on, with our young people. Because I remember, hits from the streets and all the college campuses and blitzes that BET would do. Yeah. And, seeing all the good, things, with our young people working to strive to become doctors, lawyers, and educators and things of that nature, but they were still having fun. MTV would even go out and, do the spring break. I remember they had the dance show, The Grind, that would go down to Florida.
They had Rock the Vote.
Yep.
Very important for younger people. Get out the vote,
Yeah, vote or die.
Important things.
It was all those things, they used to be at that conscious. It was the videos helped to parlay the commentary in between the videos. I remember, excuse me, I remember vividly watching Kurt Loder, Tabitha Soren, Colin Quinn, his sister Martha Quinn. I remember watching all of them and being caught into the events that were going on, the issues that were relevant, and being, felt compelled to take action. And then the music videos that would be played normally had a common theme that would basically support it. And so it kind of made you think well, I feel a certain way, about this because this is going on and this, celebrity, or musician feels this way too. So it's like you felt closer. So, you felt more inclined. Now it's just everybody seems so centered on self.
It's wrong, my friend. It's so wrong. The last time they showed videos on MTV was when they brought back Beavis and Butthead. And they showed videos in there. And I was like, thank God they're showing videos. But they canceled Beavis and Butthead after one season.
Now, Beavis and Butthead is an amazing show. Mike Judge, a brilliant creator. But again, that's really a show for, the fans. I hate to say it. I think that if you're going to bring back Beavis and Butthead, I would not suggest, bringing it back to MTV personally. I would suggest going with a different network. I would suggest if
Really?
anything, yeah, I would, or even going straight to DVD because not only do you create the demand for it because you know who wants it and you know how much to do, but at the same time, it allows you again to commentate as you see fit based on certain issues. I remember watching Liquid. I think it was called Liquid. It was Liquid Swim. It was on MTV. But they would play. They would play Beavis and Butthead. They would play episodes of Daria. Excuse me.
That was my show back in the day.
It was.
I dated a girl like that. She knows who she is.
They also would show this Eon Flux.
Yeah, I remember
cartoon.
that. They're going to try to make that into a movie, actually. They announced that they're going to make that into a picture.
And I thought they would have done that a long time ago.
Yeah.
Actually, I thought they had did it before. It may have been under a different name though. But it was a movie very similar. I believe Charlize Theron played the woman in the picture. But I believe at the time that I was feeling it was based off Eon Flux. But again, if you were to bring back Eon Flux now, it would work maybe well on like a Cartoon Network,
Yeah.
or Adult Swim, type thing. Maybe even, excuse me, they do a block of anime, excuse me, on this network. So something like that would
Something
work, but
different
not
would
on
be nice.
MTV. Because on MTV, people want to see the 16 and pregnant and all, the
See,
ignorant
that's
stuff.
the kids, man. Like, you're a little bit older than me, but I mean, when I was growing up, let's say early '90s, mid '90s, it was great to still see videos on there. I mean, that's when they started Real World. They added a couple things here and there, but there were still videos. There were still the hottest rap videos or the hottest rock videos. Even TRL in the late '90s, it was corny at times, but you saw videos.
But then that was the thing. TRL is what really set the precedent, I think, for, in my opinion, would be our downfall. This is nothing against
Yeah.
Carson Daly.
No, you're working on the Today Show, buddy. I mean,
But-
you got a job.
But what it was is,
You know?
it was the fact that by you keeping a particular artist relevant, it allowed them to make more money, which allowed them to furnish their cribs and buy cars and all this other stuff so they could appear on MTV Cribs.
Yeah.
So after you called and voted to watch your videos and then you see them on Cribs, and it's like, again, people started thinking that, they're relating, that they're knowing these people.
It
They know
jumped the
all about
shark.
their lives.
Jump the shark.
And and it's like,
There you go.
you start thinking that I can do that too. They start thinking, half-assed in their backstories, And then they end up, like you said, on some Bad Girls Club episode gone wrong.
And folks, we're not bashing reality TV. We're just saying more content, more talk, more entertainment, less reality. We know they're cheap to produce. They're the cheapest thing to produce, but cheapest isn't always the best.
Especially when the outcome is the effect that it's having on the generation that's watching it. Because in the United States, we do showcase more violence than a lot of other countries on TV.
Yeah.
And the thing is, when you're showing women competing and vying for, a man's affection and vice versa, or when you're showing, people that are, outright fighting and lying and conniving and doing all these things in order to achieve fame, that can only be expected that the children are going to emulate that in order to become famous as well.
That's
and the
true.
thing is we've already had so many tragedies in the entertainment industry just from people already being in it. But the thing is, by raising, or should we say lowering the level of morality and ethics that, we're adhering to by what we're showing and putting out there, we're basically bringing our whole society down. And that's the reason why. Nobody wants to watch music videos anymore because they take too long. Because everybody's down looking at their phone, looking up at a music video is going to take too long.
If it wasn't for music videos, in my case, I would have never heard Prince. I would have never heard Tupac Shakur. I would have never heard some of those great rock artists like, let's say, Led Zeppelin,
I mean, you're absolutely right.
Guns N' Roses. I would have never seen stuff like that because growing up where I grew up, I seen a little bit, but MTV is what really opened the floodgates so you could see this talent on a national scale instead of just, whatever's in the neighborhood.
And you're right. I mean, the Grateful Dead, Genesis, Peter Gabriel, New Shoes. Like you said, there's just so many Nirvana, Blind Melon,
Michael Jackson, man.
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
Practically
everything.
invented the music video.
Everything that all the music and styles that I listen to now. A lot of them I would have not have heard of, or at least not until later on in life, had it not been for MTV and them showing music videos. And then during a brief time, and there's still some now, there was a brief moment where certain channels would basically, that's all they would show. It's just music videos.
Yeah.
Now, I think that was created for the lack of, supply. People like us wanted music videos. MTV, VH1, BT weren't really showing them. Even though they were still doing, BT was still doing 106 in Park, but of course now that that's going off the air, there isn't that video outlet. And I know a lot of people are, really more digital now, and you can download things to your phone. But it's still sometimes a matter of being able to sit around, watch wholesome TV with your family or friends.
Yeah.
In order to, to bond,
I remember that. I remember pay-per-view music videos. Remember the box?
Mm-hmm.
I think when I was about 12 years old, from the time I was 12 to I was about maybe 17, the box, you order. I know kids today be like, order music videos for $3. What are you talking about? Yes.
Yeah.
You want to see Tupac? Pay $2.99. You want to see Digital Underground? Pay $2.99. You want to see fucking Nas? $2.99.
And that's what it was. I mean,
people don't believe it, but
I mean, I remember, there being like, world premiere, Madonna's gonna, world premiere video at 8 o'clock. I mean, at like 7:55, you made sure that everything you had to do was done so you could be there at 8 o'clock in order to watch it. And it's like, there's no more excitement like that for stuff anymore. When it is, it's for, stuff like, it's not for creativity, it's for Jordans, you know what I'm saying, or the latest car, you know what I'm saying, or something that, will eventually, deteriorate. Yeah. But, hopefully these images and what's being created is, the beauty of, what we're trying to pass on.
We love you, MTV, but
please go back up. Please go back to showing videos.
Give us some sketch comedy, give us a talk show.
No, they tried sketch comedy and that didn't work.
Yeah, but it's always the cast.
Unless you're going to put me on there. If you're going to put me on there, I'm sure I can go ahead and work out, I'm sure, but actually both of us. I'm sure MTV, if you want to go ahead and allow us the opportunity to put together a sketch comedy, I can guarantee you that between me, JC, and the comedians and comics we're going to bring in entertainment, we can actually make a wonderful show that not only does what we're hoping you can do, which is reach back to, a family environment and go ahead and show, that, while we can, work to move forward, even in this digital world, that we don't have to separate ourselves. We can definitely do that.
I would like to say, though, MTV, look, I want to do another In the Living Color type show. That's what I'm looking to do. I love In Living Color. I love Mad TV. Sketch comedy show, and then the last 5 minutes is a live performance. I would love to do that. I'm just going to put that out there.
I mean, and it definitely sounds good. I mean, again, you know where to reach us if you think that's a good idea, but as a whole, it's just a matter of, when we get back to the basic roots of what programming should be, we will. I remember growing up, they had the list of words that you couldn't say on TV, and I remember it was more than 5 words. To my understanding now, it's less than 5. I think that's, a shame.
Yeah.
So
I remember that. NYPD Blue, the first ones that'll let you say shit. 10 o'clock at night, I think it was 2001, they were going to say shit. It was a big deal. Now it's like
nothing. I mean, after 10 o'clock on Comedy Central, it's anything goes. I remember the first episodes, like the first season of Law and Order. Like, they had cursing in there when they filmed it, but they would cut it out. They would edit it, so they wouldn't say it. So, I mean, I thought that was, like, really weird. But
that's interesting. Well, we got to move on, but we have one more topic for you.
All right.
And we're going to let our buddy Tex tell you what it is.
I don't remember what it is.
You don't remember what it is. That's okay. You know what? That's cool, because we're going to talk. We can talk about anything. That's what we do.
Do you remember what it was?
I have a vague idea of what we're going to talk about.
If you tell me what you
We're going to
remember,
talk about what we love in cable TV.
I don't know, because I really don't watch much cable TV. I mean, like, I record stuff on my DVR, but I can't say what I love. Because I kind of watch the same stuff. I mean, I like checking out new stuff, like Empire. We were talking about that earlier. Just came on.
Yeah.
Just from the previews, I thought it was going to be an amazing show. I tried to set up my DVR, and I missed the first episode, so I didn't see it. I actually saw probably say maybe 3/4 of the second episode. But at least from what I saw, I think it's going to be very interesting. I'm a big fan of Glee. Anything where people are singing, performing and stuff like that.
It's the last season.
Yeah,
Tune in for the last, going out with a bang.
But I think I was telling, I don't know if it was you, it might have been my roommate. But the way I'm looking at Empire, it's like, you remember the movie Hustle and Flow, right?
Yeah.
All right.
It's hard out there for a pimp.
Yes, it is.
To get the money for the rent. That's a Grammy-winning song, children.
Yes, it is. Yes. 3 6 Mafia, they did that. But the way that I'm looking at it is, if you were to take basically Hustle and Flow, the character, he was, doing his thing. Let's say he gets out of jail. Now, the white girl, she done got a real job, and the other chicks done moved on, and he still got this chick right here with the baby. So, basically, let's fast forward 20 years after, some stuff has gone down with her, maybe for him. He's put out a couple of albums, so on and so forth. Now he's moving and transition into, the corporate aspect of it. The kids growing up, maybe they done had more kids. Mm-hmm. I mean, I hate to say it kind of seems like Hustle and Flow fast forward, some years to me. I mean, at least when I look at it. So that's why I'm thinking I'm kind of getting into it, only because it's really those two characters that are in it. If it wouldn't have been the Taraji and Terrence, if it wouldn't have been them two together, I probably wouldn't have made that connection. But I mean, that's how it kind of looks to me, though.
Okay, so what is it that you like and dislike about cable when it comes to the programming? Like we said about reality is everywhere, but what is it about cable that makes it good?
Okay, well, before we move on to that, let me say one thing about Empire. I'm loving the fact that Timberland is working on the music. Big ups to Timberland. I would love to work with you as well one day. But, again, I hope that, they continue to open the music spectrum and not just keep it, closed. Mm-hmm. There used to be a thing when people would talk about, black music. Mm-hmm. And now it's to the point now where I think we all moved past that, at least in the entertainment industry. So, I definitely would love to see, more risk-taking, music-wise, and not so much, conformity, though. Now, as far as cable TV, I grew up in a time frame when you could basically buy a TV. You could plug your TV into the wall and you would plug in a cable cord. And by doing that, you would automatically have 5 channels. Mm. I grew up on that probably until I was like maybe 12 years old and didn't think it, probably say like maybe 8. Because I remember about 5th grade. So I was about 9, 10 around 5th grade. We got a cable box, which gave us like 60 channels. Mm. To be honest, I mean, I grew up watching Showtime and, we, I guess, I didn't realize how privileged we were, I guess, but growing up, we had Showtime, Cinemax, HBO, and the movie channel. So, I guess now that would be considered a deluxe package, but I mean, just regular cable, public access, and everything else. By growing up on something like that, I've become spoiled to what TV is. As far as cable TV, I really don't even know what that means now. Because if I buy through a provider, I figure I get a certain set of channels. And if I want to get a movie channel, it's going to cost me extra.
I define cable TV as anything but your local bigness. Not ABC, not NBC, not CBS, not Fox. Not your local channels. Anything that's outside those big,
Like Showtime.
Showtime, anything. I mean, FX, Nickelodeon, anything like that. That's not one of the big 4 networks.
I got you, kinda. But okay. Well, I love History Channel, but let's not talk about them. Let's talk about FXX. FXX is definitely doing the damn thing. I remember hearing about an Esquire channel, but I haven't really figured out
if
it's in my cable bracket because I haven't seen it yet. But I'm a big fan of the magazine, so I definitely would like to check out the channel. And I definitely think if there were a TV channel or a network, I'd be able to get a show on that might be it. Something with men's fashion or something like that. But anyway, FXX I think is definitely doing wonderful things. Always Sunny in Philadelphia with Danny DeVito. I think it's one of the funniest shows on TV. They just started a new season. Again, DVR did not record the first episode, so I didn't see it. But, I mean, again, I expect amazing things from them. Rob McElroy, Charlie,